Hello my guys, welcome to another episode of the Microwave Kicks. So yesterday was my birthday. Thank you so much to everybody who text, called, wished me a happy birthday. Please give me a birthday gift by clicking on the subscribe button. At least I know that yes, I have people over here who love my content and love what I do. If you are new to this channel, please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel as a birthday gift for me. I'll be so happy, I'll be so grateful. Now let's get into today's topic. So it was a very wonderful victory for Chelsea against Esperance of Tunisia. And kudos to the guys, kudos to Maresca, kudos to everybody who played. Chelsea didn't actually start their best legs, but kudos to everybody who played. That was a very fantastic victory for Chelsea. And Chelsea have actually qualified to the knockout phase of this Club World Cup. First of all, that is another incentive for Chelsea. First of all, that's like more than 23 million that Chelsea have already earned for qualifying to the next stage of the Club World Cup, and that will help in signing players, going into the club's revenue and everything, in acquiring new talent. Already Chelsea has already earned the amount of money in this Club World Cup. In the last couple of games they've played, the Chelsea have already earned the amount of money they used in buying the lap. So it's a very good incentive to participate in this kind of competition. Now, concerning the game, Enzo Maresca took a huge risk because Chelsea needed, not minding what happened in the other games. I'm focusing on the Chelsea game now. Chelsea needed just a draw, to qualify, and Maresca went with an option to start his second string side, if I may use that word. Most of the players that actually started earlier today were not the players that usually start, and not like the first 11 for Chelsea. But the risks actually paid off, because in football, it's not about the risks you took, it's about the result you get. And at the end of the day, Chelsea won, and nobody was actually talking about that. But kudos to Maresca picking up this team, giving them the motivation to actually go ahead and win convincingly. Not just 1-0, not just 2-0, but 3-0 unreplied goals. Fantastic victory for Chelsea. So kudos to Maresca yet again. And some players actually impressed me in that game. It was important for Chelsea to win, at least, to build up that momentum, to build up that winning feeling going into the next round and going into playing against Benfica. Now, few players actually impressed me in that game, and let's start from the defense. Tosin impressed me so well, and he could be one of the best players, in Chelsea in terms of giving his best. Yes, he was bought for a free transfer from Fulham, but people don't actually rate him, maybe because he doesn't have a price tag. But trust me, the kind of job he does, he was the man of the match yesterday, official man of the match. But what he does to this team in the defense, because he has actually hit form in the last couple of weeks, close to the end of the season, and also now in this Club World Cup again, he has really earned, he has really improved rather, his style of play. He has improved, in terms of the ability on how he plays on the pitch. So kudos to Tosin. He has done so well, and yesterday he proved that yes, he can be better and he can grow and be a better player in terms of, because right now he's like a leader in that squad, because he's more or less like one of the oldest players in the team. So with what he does, with what he brings to the team, with what he brings to the defense, maturity speaks. And I like what he did yesterday. Interesting, fantastic performance from him. And the goal he got also, it was precise. The header was fantastic, because it's been so long Chelsea actually scored, it's been so long Chelsea actually scored a set piece. So having that, come true, that was really, really great. And let's talk about Lavia. Chelsea started Lavia, or Maresca started Lavia yesterday. And Lavia is the kind of player that when he plays, you could see him. The likes of Caicedo was rested, Cucurella was rested. Most first-team players were rested yesterday. Reece James, most of them was rested. But if you see how Lavia started the game, you could see that this guy has something. If only he could stay fit. I keep saying it, that Lavia is the closest thing we have to John Mikel on how he compose and coordinates himself in the midfield, how he coordinates that midfield, how we make sure everything goes through the midfield, how he plays deep line passes, how he controls the game, how he builds up, how he carries the ball. fantastic player we have in Lavia. If only Lavia can stay fit, trust me, this season for Chelsea will be one of the very best seasons in a very long time. So kudos to Lavia on how he played yesterday. Yes, the Esperance of Tunisia are not a very big team in terms of Europeans. These are Africans, and kudos and respect to the Esperance. They are one of the best clubs in Africa, but the level speaks. The levels are different. What they bring to the game is different, honestly, because this is not a top tier European team. So the levels are different. So I will understand why Maresca started the second string side. No problem. I understand that fact. But take nothing away from Esperance. They're a very good side. So to get that kind of result against that team, kudos to Maresca and Chelsea. So Lavia did well yesterday. And another player I actually want to talk about is Acheampong. You see, I think Acheampong has been so underrated, for the fact that Real Madrid and other clubs were looking for his services before he resigned or before he extended his deal at Chelsea. Shows you that this guy really has something to prove and something to offer. With the way he played earlier, he was so good. You know, the way he played today showed that yes, he's a player that can improve. It shows that he could challenge Gusto in that number 2 position. It shows that he could challenge and he could also be a starter if he actually plays so well, you know, in the next couple of, you know, months and all of that. But trust me, he has the potential to be a starter. He has the potential to be a very good player for Chelsea. He shows that maturity even more than his age, and that is what I like about him. He has the heart. He knows how to push the ball forward. He knows how to drive against, you know, against teams. You know, he has that drive. He has that physique also. He's tall. You know, when it comes to set piece, he's always competing and everything. So very, very good play for, you know, for Acheampong. Another player I want to talk about is Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez gave 2 assists in the game. The first one for Tosin and the second one for Delap. It was a fantastic assist. Yes, just a normal pass. You know, Delap had to control, you know, put it in his stride and pick his aim. But his output these days shows that Enzo has really improved. If you could remember the Enzo that actually started the season where Caicedo and Lavia were playing in the pivots, and at some points, at some games during the start of the season, Enzo Fernandez was sitting on the bench. All right, he was playing the Conference League and all of that, but just few games right now. Then he came into the team and he blew up. Like, can you see his goal output? Can you see his ratio? How he crashes into the box and scores. He scored. He's gotten a goal already in this Club World Cup. You know, his assists. He has gotten like 16 assists already in the whole of this season. That is to show you the improvement on this guy. He's showing that yes, he could be a very good player in Chelsea. No wonder the likes of Real Madrid were interested in his service a few months ago, because he really has something to offer and he's a mainstay in the Argentine national team. So trust me, Enzo Fernandez is a very, very good player for Chelsea, and I like what he's doing. I like his output. I like that in each and every match he's showing that he could actually make an assist or even go ahead to score a goal. So trust me, that was a nice assist. That was a nice pull out for Tosin, and that was a very good assist also for Delap. Now let's talk about Delap. Fantastic player. Yes, many people underrated him before he came to Chelsea. I was one of the persons that wasn't really convinced about getting Delap, because I want a finished article. I want a finished player, like a player who's there, a player who has experience. I was hearing for the likes of Osimhen and other players, Sesko and the rest. But trust me, I think currently, my own opinion, I think Delap is at the level of Sesko. That's what I think. You know, maybe not at the level of Osimhen yet, but I think he's at the level of Sesko, Ekitike, and all of that. This is a Premier League proven player. Yes, he has played just 1 season in the Premier League, but he understands the English game. He understands football, and he has done it in the Championship. He has done it in the Premier League. For you to score 12 goals for Ipswich, fantastic. So trust me, I think he's going to do well. I think he's going to cook. Not minding the number of the jersey he's wearing, I think he's really going to do well in the Chelsea colours. And getting that goal yesterday, it was not just about the goal. It was about the composure and the finish. That is a striker instinct. That is a striker kind of finish. How we control the ball with his side, you know, guide the ball, guide himself, shield the ball against the defender with his physique and everything, and put it in his right side and slot it in. That is a striker instincts kind of goal. That is a cool poacher. I love what he did yesterday. He can hold. There's always room for improvement, and I believe he's going to do better. Jackson has to be very careful at this point. If Jackson is not sold in Chelsea, I think Jackson might be the second striker for Chelsea, because what Delap is doing, how he's going, how he's even affecting the game. Even if he doesn't score for the 3 games he has played, he has gotten, at least he has shown something that yes, he could be a very, very good player going forward and going into the new season for Chelsea. So kudos to Enzo Maresca and kudos to Delap for getting that fantastic goal yesterday. A very nice one for them. Now let's talk about Tyreek George and Esugo. Esugo played over 40 minutes earlier today, did so well. Now you guys can see what he brings to the game. Just like Caicedo, he has this Caicedo kind of physique, Caicedo thinking and everything. He can only get better. He's a young player. He's just coming to the squad. He has to take time to learn the ropes. He has to take time to learn the Caicedo role. He has to take time to understand how Maresca wants to play. He has to take time to see how it is done over here. He can only get better. He's a young player. He's going to play big parts in the season. Maresca, Caicedo will now be rested at some point. Caicedo can be rested now at some point. Caicedo, can take a break at some point, because if Esugo actually picks up, Lavia stays fit, then other players can actually have rest, in this team. And very good one for him. He did well to me yesterday. Earlier today. Why am I saying yesterday? Today. He did well, and that was a very good one for Esugo. And now to Tyreek George, very good player. I think he shouldn't go on loan. I think he should be in the squad. A player who is developing. Before he scored that 3rd goal, he has been taking shots. I think that was like his 3rd shot or 4th before he scored that goal. Yes, it was a goalkeeper blunder, but if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win a lottery. So it was a very good one. He played well yesterday to me. His take-ons, his shots and everything. He's showing that maturity. He's showing that he's growing and he's improving in his game. So very good one from Tyreek George. Then so another person I want to talk about is Santos. Yesterday, Santos, to me, he didn't really impress too much. It's not his fault. He's a very good player, no doubt. You see what he did last season at Strasbourg. He's just coming into the team. Even before he went on loan, you remember it was during the preseason, he played started just one game. Then later, he couldn't get enough playing time. But right now, he's learning the Maresca style. So it takes time. It takes time to understand the Enzo Fernandez role. It takes time, because once you go, coming back, knowing how to control that role, taking the long passes, taking the short passes, crashing the box, all those things takes time to learn. Even Enzo Fernandez, it took time for him to learn as well. So we all should be patient with Santos. Is going to come good. He still even made an assist. So we just need him to take time to learn the ropes, and it's going to come good. It's just patience, going into the season. I think he's going to learn, he's going to grow under Maresca, and he's going to do well. Maresca even spoke about him. He's working well. He needs to understand how we play. It's for all the new ones. It's important for the new ones to continue in the way they are working, So like I said, with time, he's gonna get used to the role, he's gonna get used to the team. And at the end of the day, he's going to come good. So I just believe with time, patience, and everything, he's going to play well. And also, Maresca needs to understand the fact that Madueke is preferred on the right. We keep saying this over and over again. That was how he was playing with James in midfield. He keeps on doing it. But let's Maresca have this at the back of your mind, that if you want the best productivity from a player, play him in his preferred position. That's just the fact. Once you keep playing him out of position, his output will be reduced, his confidence will be reduced, he will lose form, and at the end of the day, he will not get the best out of that kind of player. So Enzo Maresca, please and please play Madueke in his right position. That was why he didn't play so well, earlier today. Now, let's talk about a player that is no more with Chelsea, Marcus Bertinelli. He gave an interview with The Athletic. He said, I think obviously when you get the phone call, because he spoke initially that what is his working the prospect of working with Manchester City. So he said, I think obviously when you get a phone call from Manchester City and you've got a chance to work with winners, and Pep, he's won everything in his career, to learn from him, to see how he works, to see, you know, his mentality, the lads have in the team, it's near impossible for me to say no. So I understand what he's saying. Oh, you won't blame him. He's not an outfit player. He's the third choice goalkeeper who is just training and earning salary. Now, he found that as an opportunity to go learn from Pep in terms of coaching. At the end of the day, he might have an interest in coaching. So probably he saw that as an opportunity because he talked about winners. He's not throwing shades. Manchester City are winners. He's not throwing shades. Guardiola is a winner. So to him, that's the best option for him, to go over to City and learn from Pep, because he has been learning, you know, from other coaches in Chelsea. So it's time to go learn from the best. When I mean the best, somebody that even Maresca learned from. So no shades with him. I think what he said, it wasn't a shade to Chelsea. So let's move on. That's not really a big news for us to actually deliberate on. Now to the big one. According to Keran Gill, he said, if the Jamie Gittens deal cannot be done, Alejandro Garnacho and Malik Fofana remain on the winger shortlist. Wow. Wow, excuse me. The thing is, instead of Garnacho, I would have even preferred Fofana. So that's Malik Fofana to actually come in. Because this Garnacho with the baggage, I don't want another Sancho or Rashford kind of player or Anthony kind of player to come to Chelsea just to prove a point. You cannot come to Chelsea to prove a point to your previous coach. You understand? You have to come to Chelsea to show what you can do, to show that you are the best, not proving a point, not freedom fighters. We don't want freedom fighters here. So for Garnacho, I don't think he's the right man to come to Chelsea to play in that role. It's good, no doubt, he's a good player, but to me, I don't think so. I think he needs to go to maybe Aston Villa, you know, Fulham, and go do his thing there, not Chelsea. We can't have a Jadon Sancho's kind of situation here again for a player who wants to, you know, prove a point and coming over from Manchester United. Please, I actually do not want that. And for Fofana, I would have even preferred Fofana that is coming from the French league, you know, coming from Lyon, you know, if not Jamie Gittens. But trust me, I think this Jamie Gittens deal at the end of the day will work. I think Chelsea will pull no matter what it takes. I think Chelsea is going to bring him in. And here's what Pettigol has to say. He said new and positive negotiations have taken place in the last few hours between Borussia Dortmund, Chelsea regarding Jamie Gittens. There's still an agreement on the final decision. Dortmund will still demand 55 million. I think there was the meeting in the US between Chelsea hierarchy and the Borussia Dortmund hierarchy concerning Jamie Gittens for like a final meeting and all of that. I think Borussia Dortmund are still demanding for 55 million. That's over 60 million euros. And Chelsea are still trying to renegotiate that with add-ons and everything. I think at the end of the day, they're going to strike that deal. I think at the end of the day, Jamie Gittens might actually come to Chelsea. A very wonderful player. I've spoken extensively about him in my previous videos, so you can go check those videos. But to me, I think if he comes, it will be a very good addition to the squad. You know, you cannot buy a player at that range or at that amount and coming to Chelsea to sit on the bench. He has to be a first team player. He has to be a starter in the team. And I think he's going to do well because he has this talent. He has the zeal. He has the motivation to play. He has done it in the Champions League before. He has gotten goals and assists in the Champions League and also with Borussia Dortmund. So I think he's going to play. I think he's going to do well. Please tell me what you think about Jamie Gittens, about Garnacho, Malik Fofana, about the Chelsea game entirely. What do you think about Maresca's choice of starting a second string side? Tell me what you think about Tosin's goal, about the Delap's first goal for Chelsea. Let me know, and let me know what you think. Also, if you're new to this channel, please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, please hit the notification bell, and always share your thoughts in the comments. Yesterday was my birthday. I appreciate everybody who wished me a happy birthday. I appreciate the calls, the texts, and everything. Until I come your way again next time, please do well to hit the subscribe button. I am your boy Mike Way. Stay cool.